keep saying I'll start on Monday, and Monday never comes. I go on a holiday soon, and I really want a bigger bum and a smaller waist. Can you help?
Look, if you wanna come gym, make sure you put the work in. Some wanna get fit, some wanna get slim, some wanna start competing, but enough of them just can't stop cheating. When their belly is full, they're still eating. Me, I practice what I'm teaching. They don't live what they.
What's up, Fit Fam? This is Giovanni of Gio's Logic, your host of Fitness Junkies. I hope this show meets you in good health and spirits, and if not, I hope it inspires you to do something about it. Well, I'm sitting next to one of the first fit models in the NPC. Is that right?
Yes. The first show is this Saturday.
Right.
Of the Fit Model category, the new division for the IFBB, and I am thrilled for it.
Emily, thank you for making the time. This is your peak week, right?
Yes.
And you're probably hungry. You brought your food in with you.
I did bring my food.
So thank you for making the time for this during this week, because it can get crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure you have your whole life as well. So, but let's get into a little bit of your life. And I ask all my guests, what's your fitness journey? Like from back when you were a kid, did you play sports or cheerlead, or how did you get to doing a show
right
in a couple of days?
Right. So I guess when I was around 9 or 10, I was in Taekwondo, and I was in it for 8 years. I actually went to the Junior Olympics.
No way.
I have a black belt. Yeah.
No way.
So it's a little bit, I've always been very competitive.
She's like, don't mess with her.
No. So that was from a very young age. And that just provided me a lot of stability, a lot of just basic core values in my life. Integrity, discipline. So that was instilled at a very young age. And then in high school, I did a little bit of track, nothing crazy. Right after high school, joined the military. So what a lot of people don't know, or maybe they do, but in the military, you have to pass a physical test to join, and also every year to remain eligible for fit for duty. So every year they would do, a 2-mile test within a certain time frame, also a certain amount of push-ups and sit-ups within a time frame as well. So that itself kept me active.
Kind of like G.I. Jane, like all that stuff. Have you seen that movie?
Mm-mm.
Okay, I don't know. You got to see it. So, wow, then what? So how long were you in the military, and what time frame was this?
Yes.
Like, were you in a war?
No. So this was from 2014 to 2019.
Okay.
I was active duty. I did go overseas to Diego Garcia. A lot of people don't know where that is.
I don't either. I was going to ask you.
So it's an island in the Indian Ocean territory. It's actually a really cool island because it's owned by the British Queen. And it's occupied with cats and goats. So random.
Oh, wow.
But
you have a base there.
It's a base there, yes. They have a lot of subs go in for port and cruise. So that's where I was stationed for a while.
And what were you in the military? What did you have a certain job?
Yes. So I was an MP, so military police.
Oh, wow.
So that's what I did.
Okay.
And so.
That's awesome. That's like totally what I never would have guessed.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, then what happened after the military? Did you do workouts in the military, or did you keep doing fitness, or?
Yeah, so I did do fitness a little bit just to keep up with those qualifications, those fitness exams. I didn't really start going into the gym when probably my last year in the military.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was actually seeing a therapist, and as I was mom of 2.
When did the kids come in?
Oh, when did the kids come in? So the kids came
before
when I was
military?
No, during military.
Okay.
During military.
Okay.
That culture in the military is so different. They
Okay.
pop them young,
Okay.
But I did have my 2 kiddos while I was active duty.
Okay.
And So backtracking is I was seeing a therapist.
I think we need a second podcast because she's got so much right there.
Yeah, you don't even know. Yeah. So
okay.
And she asked me, what do you do for yourself? And I'm like, well, I pick up the kids, I drop them off, I go to work from 7 to 7, and I do all these things. She's like, well, you're not doing anything for yourself. Why don't you just go to the base gym to start? And I was like, okay. So I would just start on the treadmill, walking. I would look at those machines, too scared, to even try them because just intimidation on its own.
Right.
And then I would go into this like yoga room, like where they have classes for Zumba, and I would do core stuff by myself,
and that was your me time.
And that was my me time, and I loved it. I loved my me time. So that's what kept me going, is just having my me time. It felt good, and it really helped me just create more balance in my lifestyle. Being a mom, being at the time a wife, being military, active duty, and a full-time student, I was having no time for myself.
Right.
So that was the time where I can give back to myself.
Right. And you were a full-time student as well.
Yes.
When did you find time to do that?
So I used, while you're in the military, you can use tuition assistance. So that's basically where you're being paid for your credits and you don't have to use your GI Bill. So I wanted to start school, and I only did like 2 classes within 8 weeks.
Okay.
And at the time, because I didn't want to go on another deployment, I wanted to be there for my kiddos.
Got it.
So I was like, I need to go to school, and because if I get out and the only thing I'll have is a military background, I wanted more than that. So I got my first degree in early childhood education and development.
Okay. While in the military?
While active duty, yes.
Wow.
Yes.
You're an overachiever, I see.
Thank you.
So you got your first degree then.
Yes.
And then what was your plan to do with that, like the degree?
Well, initially I wanted to be a teacher.
Okay.
That was my first plan. After my second kid, I was like, you know what? Maybe I don't want to be a teacher no more. They're a lot.
I got enough.
Yeah, they're a lot.
Right.
So I wanted to do something that I can still make a difference in the world and still be a positive influence to these growing minds. So I went for my bachelor's at the College of William and Mary for psychology.
Okay.
So that's where I have my bachelor's.
And what was the plan with that?
The plan with that was to get into a secondary program. So I received my master's from Pepperdine University in mental health. So I got my master's in clinical psychology with an emphasis of marriage and family therapy.
At Pepperdine?
At Pepperdine, yes.
In California?
I did online.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. I guess because it's probably right around COVID or something?
Right around COVID, and it worked best for my schedule, so I can be more active with my kiddos.
Okay. So you found a new space for your me time at the gym, and then when did that kind of get into more gym and more moving towards competitions? Because you've done other competitions, right?
Yes. My first competition was maybe 4 years ago now. So 2021. And what had me inspired was there was this girl at my gym, and I just loved her physique. I liked her confidence. She was lifting heavy weights.
Right.
And I was like, wow, this is inspiring. And I asked, what do you do? I compete in IFBB. I'm a bikini, competitor.
Right.
And I was like, really? Like, what is this all about? So I go and I research it, and I'm like, these people are amazing. They're so inspiring. And they have these incredible physiques.
Right.
I want to look like that. And this was the year that Janet won. So I remember looking at her physique, and I'm like, that is stunning. Her face is stunning. Her physique is stunning. I want her coach. So that's why I got with my first coach, Kim Odo, and did my first show. And he gave me a training plan. And that's when I actually started using machines.
Okay.
And that's when I started using,
free weights and
these
stuff?
free weights and stuff with my first plan because it was on there. So I had to learn.
Right. And so you have this girl that inspired you to go that next yard, but you still had 2 kids, a husband at the time or not at the time when you started going down
When
that road?
I started competing, not at the time.
Okay.
No.
So, and then when you get to that level, then you have to eat a certain way. And then I think I was told that you were natural, completely natural.
Yeah.
So were you competing in natural competitions or the normal, regular competitions?
To be honest, when I did my first show, I didn't even know women used gear. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Right.
I didn't know that until after I competed, after my first show.
Like,
so
how did she get so hard?
I just wanted to do this category and go to my first show. That was the only thing I had in mind.
Right. And so how'd you do?
I won my class.
You won your class in your first show?
My first show.
Wow.
And then I got second at the overall, or second or third, it's arguable.
Okay.
Because they don't tell you, for the overall, if you're second or third, they just say, this is the overall winner.
Right. Okay.
So I was second or third, and I was like, I love it. You
caught the bug right then.
Caught the bug. I was like, this is amazing on what my body can do. My first prep was really fun and easy, and it provided a sense of a healthy routine, stability, especially with my kids. It created that really just being stable, routine, consistent. So it was very easy when you have a good schedule.
So now you win your first show, you got the bug, you still have this whole life that you're trying to incorporate into the fitness lifestyle. What were some of the challenges with all that? Did your current significant other have anything to do with helping you develop that lifestyle? Because it's not, everyone can say they want to compete or they compete, but you have to cook a certain way for your kids and your significant other and then you sometimes, and there's a whole thing that a lot of people don't realize goes on.
Right.
How did you get to that next level where you were able to manage your life and dedicate to competing? Or is it kind of a different kind of balance for you?
No, I see what you're saying. That's a great question.
I stumped her.
I know, you stumped me. And I'm going to answer it to the best of my ability.
Yeah. Just, I compare it to juggling some balls in the air. If you can juggle, it's you got to juggle the boyfriend, you got to juggle the kids.
Well, first of all, I don't juggle no boyfriend. Okay?
No.
And we have one of the best relationship, because me and Stan.
Okay.
So I'm with Stan.
Okay.
Bodybuilder guy.
Okay. Yes. I love him.
And we're that type where he can leave me tomorrow, I can leave him tomorrow, and we're going to be okay. We're both very independent people, which I love, and we choose each other every day, which strengthens and makes our relationship so great. Mm-hmm. It's not we need each other, it's we like having each other around. So nice. That might be my counseling, coming in, but we complement each other's lifestyle, which makes us work so well.
Right.
So I love coming home and he's there when he comes home and I'm there, and how was your day? Because we have very different lives, which is the best thing about a relationship. He's like my bestie. Okay. And I always tell him we're friends first because that's the foundation, and then we're boyfriend, girlfriend next, Okay. So he has making everything very easy for me. I don't cook for him, he cooks for himself, I cook for myself. So we go out to eat to dinner once in a blue moon, not often.
Right.
But he's a great rock for me. He really helps me stay focused on what my goals are and what my vision is. Mm-hmm. And being a mom is something that he's not the biological father,
Mm-hmm.
but it's something that I've said, if you can be as involved as you want, but at the end of the day, they're my responsibility, and I completely, be as involved as you want. You don't have to. I'm not putting any pressure on him at all.
Right.
So I have my own routine with them. I drop him off at school at 9 a.m. I go straight to get body work done if it's that day, or not go straight to the gym because I love to train earlier.
Okay.
Because for me, I'm giving myself my time, and then I'll go home and work from home.
Oh, you work from home.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there you go. That's awesome.
Yes.
So when and how did he inspire you? Like if you could say what your priorities are or energy you put into each bucket. Obviously, your kids are very important. You put a lot of energy there, your relationship. But this work and then bodybuilding and your bodybuilding dreams or mission, like how important is that? Are they all important the same? Where's your energy at?
They're spread across, I'm not going to say it's equal, because sometimes I have to give more to one dimension of my life.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, my son, he has an IEP in school, and sometimes I have to give him a little bit more, than I give Stan. But other days, I know Stan needs me to be there for him a little bit more, too. So
Right.
I'm there for him. So every day is a new day.
Right.
There's new challenges,
Right.
and there's new ways that I'm going to be dividing my time. And it's just going with that day and with that flow, because I never know what the moment's going to bring me. If I'm getting a call from school, or if I'm getting a call from Stan, or if I'm getting a call from my boss, so I'm just always prepared.
Right. So, but like, where does this bodybuilding journey, do you want to be Olympia? Do you want to or do you have goals in it, or are you just seeing where it goes? What's your thing?
Absolutely. I am huge on having goals,
Okay.
physically and mentally. Yes.
Okay.
I do have goals. I do see myself on the Olympia stage. I do see myself inspiring others, just as others have inspired me. It is in my vision. This isn't just a temporary thing, and that is why I've taken my time to grow and remain natural, because I want longevity in this sport. This isn't something that, I just want my pro card and I'm done.
Right.
I see myself in this for the long haul, the long run. So that's why I've taken my time with it and have embraced the journey and learned as much as I can, and I'm still learning.
Right.
Every day is a learning experience for me.
I
stay the student.
Right.
So I've continued learning every day on how to be better than yesterday.
Nice. So there's a lot there when you talk about therapy, and you talked about your relationship with Stan, and I'm going to start to unpack that a little bit, because
Absolutely.
I'm really trying to bring in a little bit more depth in my podcast and talk to people about their foundation, like whether it's a spiritual foundation or what drives them, like what else do they pull from it. Usually, I've been finding out, this is kind of a new thing for the show, is I've been finding out that people do have something that they go to, whether it's their religious or spiritual, or they do the work, like the work with a therapist. What are some of the things you bring to your life, and do you have anything? What you've learned something in therapy? I can already hear it, the way you speak about your relationships. So what are some of those foundations?
Trust. I mean, that's very cliche, but it's so true.
Right.
The 100% loyalty, 100% trust. I don't ever have to question him. And I feel like that is extremely important, because I've been in unhealthy relationships, and I'm going through phones, doing things, and that right there is a red flag,
Right.
So I think we have that in that foundation. There's trust. There's 100% trust.
I'm talking about what did you learn to develop that even mindset? Like, was it, I'm guessing the therapist was probably a good one, or at least one of them was, that kind of helped you get out of your old patterns of picking these people that weren't good for you. It sounds like, I've been doing kind of a lot of research into like attachment styles, and it sounds like you two don't like trigger each other. You are very aligned. You're a good fit.
Right.
Did you have any work, or did anybody guide you through the maze of relationships?
Funny. I will say I learned more about myself in school for my master's program, to learn to be a therapist, to do my clinical work. That's what I do now. I do clinical work. So that's when I've really learned about myself. The attachment style, I think it's Balbo's attachment style who came up with that.
Yes.
But I've learned so much through my schooling about myself. And I honestly think that's what, in school, we're figuring out who we are,
right.
But going to school to be a therapist is when I really just learned so much about me, what I want in a relationship, who I want around me, the influence of our environment, which is a whole other podcast we can do.
Right.
So I've and as I mentioned earlier, I stay the student. I love to learn. Even right now, I'm continuing learning, taking CEs for my job, and with my clients, I learned so much from them. They teach me so much to be able to help others.
Right.
So the love of learning helped me grow into what I want.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Right. So with all that education about relationships, because they're all relationships, you and your kids, you and your man, you and your employer, they're all relationships. Are there things that you kind of, rules that you live by? Like, I kind of want to share with people like the success stories of people that are doing amazing things, like the things that you're doing, and how do you manage all that stuff? Is there like a system that you use? Like, how do you do it? Are you just good at just?
No, not good at everything. I fill my cup up first. And people can say that's selfish, that's fine. But if my cup isn't full, then I don't have enough water to pour into other people's cup.
That's good stuff.
When we're on an airplane, they always say, put your mask on first and then help your children, your next to you, your children. So I apply that to my day-to-day. As I mentioned earlier, the first thing I do in the morning is, I eat my breakfast, take my son to school, go to the gym, because that's me time. That's me filling up my cup for I can be able to give the rest of the day. Right.
So that's the secret then for you.
For me, yes.
Right.
Yes, that is the secret.
When you're, and what type of clients do you have? Like, are they children or adults? What are your?
They're adolescents. Currently, I'm working with children on probation. I do one-on-one sessions with them, and I'm blessed to be able to schedule them on my own time. So usually a lot of these children, youth, they are in school until 1. So I don't start seeing clients until later, from 2, 3, or 4, Monday through Friday.
And is one of your tools in your toolkit exercise, and is that something that you try and bring into?
Oh, absolutely. 100%. We talk about the importance of physical exercise for mental health. Absolutely. I embed that in them. And what I've learned, I've been working with children on probation for 2 years now. During that time, I've never met one youth, one child, one client who has been in a sports team to this day. Not one. Usually it's, I used to play basketball, or I want to be in the NBA, but usually because they were hanging around with the wrong crowd or in the wrong place at the wrong time, they're on probation for a reason. So,
but no sports in their life.
It may be in the past, but not at the time when they got onto probation.
Got it.
Usually lack of school involvement as well. So I learn from them. and I'm learning, what are they missing? What are these kiddos missing? Let's think about joining a team, and if they're not into sports, what do you like to do? Let's think about following your passion, having goals, because sometimes they don't have goals. So we have to work ways to make them.
Right. And you said you have 2 children, right? Mm-hmm. You have a son and a daughter?
A boy and a girl.
Yeah. And how old is the girl?
She's 6 and my son's 8.
And so are they in sports, or what are they into?
Yeah. So my son's in jiu-jitsu.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, But I loved what it taught me when I was younger.
Yeah.
I loved
Discipline.
it.
I did judo when I was a kid.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I enroll him. I'm there every day, Monday through Friday, from 6 to 7 for him.
He goes 5 days a week?
5 days a week.
Ooh.
Consistency is key.
Wow.
I'm consistent with my schedule.
Right.
Very consistent with his schedule. Absolutely. Right. I truly believe the first thing a kid needs is love. The second thing they need is stability. It's very, very important. And then my daughter, she does cross country or track in a way. She's younger, 6. So it's like a little school, part of the school thing.
Right. So very interesting. So does your education combine, I think it does combine in your your therapeutic practices. Do you see a conversion of your fitness career and where you go with that to kind of go back and kind of tie it all together to help people like once you get to a certain level, you have the ability to kind of, this is how I got so fabulous, and this is my, do this and do this and do this. Do you ever envision somehow bringing those 2 worlds together?
Maybe in the future,
yeah.
When I have a
I'm
client.
Planting the seed.
I know, you are planting a seed. Maybe TED Talks, But when I'm with a client, I just focus on them, and I try to give them those thought-changing techniques and these different ways to view life, because some of them are just so narrow-minded. So I try to give them other ways to have just different perspectives.
Right.
But in the future, so this is another backstory. Be prepared.
Yes.
So I used to work at the sober living homes. So I used to work with addicts addicted to opioids, heroin, and stuff. And I learned that there's a lot of brain pathways that are in the same as eating disorders with the addiction. So my goal is I definitely want to work with that population of eating disorders, because that is something that isn't talked about and is in bodybuilding. That is something where I would love to connect those 2. Yeah. However, I'm still the student, so I am currently not working with them yet. I've worked with addiction though for a while, and that's a whole other avenue. But eating disorders is the next population that I would love to work with, because I want to learn their mindset and change their thought process and really help people overcome these struggles in their lives. And I think bodybuilding is something, the longer I've been in it, the more I've seen it, and the more I want to do something about it.
Well, there's the whole body dysmorphia thing attached to many of the people that are in the sport. Many of the people that aren't in the sport, it's a big thing with today's society and the images that are out there.
Absolutely.
So
I was watching this podcast, and when we take pictures, they're only 0.01 second or something crazy. And when people post it, they're not going to post the bad picture. They're going to only post the good picture.
Right.
So that's why we're looking and we're like, wow, I look so ugly or bad, because we're comparing, which is the thief of joy sometimes,
God, yes.
But these people are just posting a fraction of how they look compared to reality, which is why I think sometimes people look different in person, and there's a lot of those insecurities.
Oh my God.
But that's something I recently heard, so I wanted to share.
Yeah, and then there's the filter world, and what goes on there, and it's just some of there's if you go down that road with eating disorders, I'm sure you're going to get into the body dysmorphia and this, I don't know what it is, and it's unfortunately, in your side of the world, meaning female side, and how much they filter their images. I know men do it too, but it's predominantly women on social media and they do it so much that it's like, how do you go in public and pretend that you're you
Right.
on social media? And it's like, there's got to be some mental, not health behind it, but just something behind it. And, that we all want to be perfect, and like we're trying to become this image that I don't understand it. Like, I don't understand how you could change the way you look so much in a picture and then go somewhere and go, yeah, here's my social media. And you're like, who's this?
Right. Right.
Yeah, it's strange, but I guess someday soon it's going to be a whole study on it, and it's just one of those things, right? Sometimes, especially like on dating apps, it's because I'm single, so it's like,
You just had to put that out there. Huh?
Well, yeah,
I'm single. I'm just kidding.
I mean, why would you be on dating apps? Oh, okay. That they put so many filters. Like, who are you?
Who is this person?
Why would I connect with you? Can't even tell who you are.
And it's only making matters worse. In that same podcast that I watched, something that helped me overcome like my fear, because I'm kind of, I used to be. I'm overcoming it now. Very camera shy.
I couldn't tell.
Really? Yes.
You seem so natural.
Thank you. No, you can even ask Sean Nelson, the photographer. Like, I shot with him the first time. I'm like, oh my goodness, how do I do this?
Yeah.
And in that podcast I watch, it's like, think about what angle your babies look at you and your dogs look at you, and do they love you any less? And I'm like, oh my goodness, that touched my heart, and that's
great.
True. And it's great, and I truly believe we need to practice more gratitude, and the more gratitude people practice, the more comfortable they'll be with themselves. But that's, again, a whole other...
No, it's exactly right down the lane I want to go down.
Gratitude is huge, and it's funny, on dating apps, that's when you want to post your ugliest pictures, your ugly ones, because if someone swipes on those and they're still wanting to meet you, then that's a win. You want to show your truest self.
At least close to it. Like, you don't want to go far there.
But exactly.
Then you're like, catfish. Like, who are you?
At least post like an actual angle.
Yeah.
That is funny. But I think, you should downplay yourself. Because if I hype up a movie to you right now, you're going to watch it and be like,
that wasn't that great.
Yeah, like, what was that? But if I downplay it, like, it's, like, dang, this was some good stuff.
Right. Yeah. So talk more about gratitude, because I believe in that. And I kind of, I have like a morning practice where I, write whatever things that I'm grateful for. I usually try and put things that are stressing me out. Like, the most stressful thing in my life, I'm grateful for it, because I'm going to learn a lesson from it. Like, if a person is at work or somewhere stressing me out, or their energy is like, I'm feeling combative with it, or I feel some kind of way when they're around, I usually put them in my gratitude. Like, I have a gratitude for that relationship or that friendship, and my goal is to transform that feeling, whatever it is, to positive, to light. Do you have any practice, or do you journal or anything where you kind of like really focus on the things you're grateful for, or is it more free?
First off, I want to give you a positive affirmation, because that is great. What you're doing is a great thought-changing technique, and it's so healthy. I'm really happy you're taking the time to do that. That's really amazing.
Yeah.
What I do, working with my clients is, seeing some of their situations, how they're living, and their stories, just day to day, I'm grateful for, my life and my family. I also am part of the board of the Vegas Youth Ambassadors, which is a volunteering organization, a nonprofit, and we give back to the community. So we had a big toy drive for kids. We just last Sunday, so 3 days ago, we went out to across the street from the homeless shelter, and we fed the homeless. We gave them food, clothes. We did HIV testing for them. So I try to be as involved in the community as possible. And to me, that's a huge reflection to be grateful for my life.
Giving back.
Absolutely. Yeah. Giving back is huge. And that's something that we enforce with an addict, someone who is trying to overcome an addiction, is helping others, finding natural ways to feel good. Because usually they're using because they don't know how to feel good and they want to feel good. So we try to give them other ways that they can feel good. The first, always exercise. That's the first. It cures mental, like depression, anxiety, substance use. First is exercise. The second is helping others. Giving back. So I try to incorporate things on my, not day to day, but when I can,
that there's something really special about helping people, how fulfilled you can feel. That's what you do. You're helping people. And then, you talk about, and that's kind of like where I'm with my podcast. It's a fitness podcast, but there's a lot more to fitness, and you just explain how important it is to you than, pushing a lot of weight and doing cardio and eating skinless, boneless chicken breast. There's so much more value in it. And there's a lot of other stuff that people can bring into their wellness plan, like gratitude, giving back, journaling, whatever it is, these little practices that you can do to kind of get that thing that you're looking for, whether it's for you or that's your me time and that's your peace, whether it's for an addict and they're trying to recover and trying to stay on this straight and narrow. There's a lot of tools that in the fitness world I know people are using that I want to spread the word to. There's more than just the gym that you can bring into it, and I see that you're doing that, and that's amazing.
Yeah, the gym is just a fraction of my life. It's me. It's for me to feel good. It's my selfish act, I like to say. But the rest is, what I got to do for work and my kids and Stan, because I want him to come home to a clean house, So we try to do things that is more than just that. I always emphasize the importance of having goals. Mental health, ways to grow, physical growth, and bodybuilding is my physical growth. That's ways that I like to improve on myself. How far I can, get this shape, and that's my drug, my adrenaline, my feel good avenue.
Right. So let's talk a little bit more about this FIT model category that they created, and rumor has it that you're potentially the poster body type of what they're looking for. Do you know what that is? Did you kind of get any feedback of what are you trying to emulate? What is the look that you think you're going for? And what do you like? Because we know, how hard and diced these Olympia girls are. That's not FIT model, right? It's a softer. Would that be a good adjective?
Definitely a softer look, a more, like they said, poster, gym, from the 90s, 80s kind of look.
Okay.
It'll be interesting to see how it transpires on stage.
Right.
You know,
Because there'll be a bunch of people missing the mark, like
right.
coming in too hard, coming in too conditioned,
And that's
too soft.
and for the first show, we don't know what they're
Right.
gonna go, what
Right.
direction, you know.
Right.
So saying I'm the poster child is a little too early.
Right.
Because who knows until I step on stage if they're actually gonna like my look. All I know is the criteria
Uh-huh.
that they've put out is I'm trying to meet it. You know, I don't have that six-pack, full-on six-pack, or those big cap shoulders, or those extreme tie-ins. I don't think I've ever had them on stage. You know, so I'm doing my best to meet the criteria that they want.
Now,
And
is this show, and maybe, Fran, you might know, is it a natural NPC show or is it open?
This is open. Yeah.
Okay.
This is it sounds like they need to see as many. She'll be able to explain. She knows that.
So, so there'll be girls there that are probably on Anavar or whatever they're on, I'm sure.
you know what? I don't think a lot of girls who are on those would do Fit Model. I think it creates a hardness that
Right.
they don't want.
Okay.
So I don't think that's the case. And my thing has always been, I want to get my pro card against the girls who are on gear. You know, as I said, I want
Can we
longevity.
do that for that?
You know, I want to be against those girls. I
Right.
want to prove that you don't need to get a pro card. That's
Okay.
always been my thought process.
Right.
You know, so I've always had that mindset. And even, I don't think for Fit Model, you honestly you just need to train hard,
Right.
diet down,
Right.
and bring that stage presence, that confidence on stage, and hope they like you.
Right.
You know, so we'll see. But I don't think if anyone's doing Anavar gear for Fit Model, I would not think that they would present well.
They might miss the mark.
Absolutely.
Coming in too lean.
Absolutely.
So it's gonna be this will probably be out after you win on Saturday. So we'll probably get some footage that we'll cut into this, and it'll be really cool, kind of
Okay.
to see what we're talking about it now, and then what actually happened in real world.
Let's manifest it.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about your training. You seem like a perfect type to be in that category. Like, they made that category for you. And what I mean by that is that you come across as like the right body type for it. Does that make sense? And especially since you're not going the gear route, what is your training like? Who's your coach, and how are they guiding you? Like, are you focusing heavily on the glutes? Like, what is kind of like the plan to create this body, this new category?
So my coach is Adam. See you later, Leaner.
Okay.
And he's amazing with nutrition. You know, I always say the first part of being a great bodybuilder is getting the food down.
Truth.
You know, a lot of eating, and
Truth.
you know, a lot of the body's made not in the gym.
Yes.
You know? So
yes.
we really worked on building my metabolism on my off season. And when it was time to cut, we didn't have to do rigorous amount of cardio or so forth. My training, I'm still training hard, at least for my little body. I love to push it. I love to train hard. I love to put myself in that mindset of it's either die or die. I'm just kidding. No, but I do. I mean, I'm tiny, but I'm mighty. You know, I like to say. But I love to train hard. So my training, I don't think it's going to change all that much. I obviously don't do chest or traps. That's not part of my goals on what I want to develop. Something we're probably not going to be emphasizing a lot of, we'll see after the show, is maybe hamstrings or glutes. they don't want them to be extreme tie-ins, but we'll see feedback. You know, I'm excited for that feedback.
Right.
Shoulders, something I still love to train hard. And honestly, you're not going to get that hardness, that round cap naturally, you know? So I've been training 4 years, natty, I like to say. So I don't think I'm going to come to that point where it's too much unless I take some sort of enhancement. Or maybe if I've been doing this for 5 more years and still train hard and extremely lean down, I might have a completely different physique. Who knows?
And you use those things that you...
Oh, the newbie.
Yes, the newbies.
Yes.
And where do you use those? On your glutes?
On my glutes. My feedback has always been bigger glutes. Bigger glutes. So I don't train quads, maybe train quads once every 2 weeks.
Wow.
Well, bodybuilding's an art. It's an illusion. You know, you're trying to sculpt your body a certain way. If I have big quads, my glutes are going to look smaller. Right? So I haven't trained my quads. That way my glutes grow and my quads kind of remain. And then I've been training hamstrings. I put the pads on the hamstrings as well because, again, I was trying to meet that criteria feedback using all of the tools around me that I'm able to. And
I think I seen you in the gym at Strength Culture, and you were doing it yourself.
Yes.
What's up with
I'm
that?
the jack of all trades.
Like, this girl is on the newbies by herself and getting it done.
The jack of all trades, yeah.
Wow. You said, I need to get these when I need to get these, and if you're busy, I'm going to do it.
Well, I like to say you don't want to overdo it because there's definitely, you can strain your muscle. There's, injuries if you train too hard with that. So I don't like to overdo it. I would do max 2 times a week, like Tuesday and Fridays, because that soreness stays.
Does it really?
It does. So it was made for people who have like MS and to help them activate their muscles. And I've always thought I was quad dominant. But in reality, I just didn't know how to train my glutes. I didn't have that mind-muscle connection that I have now. And what the newbie initially did for me was redirect my training to put all the emphasis on my glutes, while I'm training. So I started using it, and it also creates more blood flow to the area. You're contracting it the whole time. So I love training on it.
Okay. Yeah, Adam's kind of the guy to go to.
He is the guy.
Vegas. Well, I guess there's other guys, but at least at Strength Culture. But I gotta have him do it for me one day because I'm like,
No, you'll get a great pump.
Yeah.
I'm that type of person where like I'll be skeptical, but I at least need to try it to see my honest opinions about it. So I know people who are like hesitant about it, but until you try it, formulate your own opinion on it, because some people will be like, it's bro science or whatever, try it yourself, and then create that opinion if that's what you like. If it didn't work for you, it didn't work,
One question more I want to ask you, and I don't even know if you've ever lost a show, but how do you deal with the emotional attachment to winning and losing? And do you have a therapeutic plan or system that you use for yourself?
That is a phenomenal question, and let me tell you why. This was when I was still in my master's program. I finished competing one of my second show. I got second in my class. I was hoping to win. Of course, we all have to have that mindset, right? If you don't believe in yourself, who is? So I was always thinking I'm going to win. And I got second, so that was a big bummer. And I used food for comfort, which I've seen a lot of people do, and why I definitely want to study more about the brain patterns on eating disorders and work with these people. So I went through a whole episode, and then I was like, you know what? I'm going to do USAs. I qualified. I still got second. You still qualify. I did my USAs. I got second call-outs. And that was tough, especially my boyfriend being a past Olympian bodybuilder, and all of these expectations I had and being around the best of the best in Vegas. I was crushed. There was times where I was embarrassed to go to the gym because I didn't place as much as I wanted.
Wow.
Real talk. Yeah. And it's normal. I realized that I'm not the only one who's been through this. It's just people don't talk about it, and that's okay. They don't want to. That's fine.
Yeah.
And it took a lot of strength, I was, again, still in school, learning more about myself, learning about my reaction, my responses, resilience. And my last show, I didn't get the overall over a year ago, but I came out of that one stronger because of everything I learned in school. And the biggest thing I've learned is resilience, the ability to get back up after a downfall, and I carry that with me. And I learn, like you journal, and like the things that's stressing you and finding different ways to approach that situation. I learn from them. And now my mindset, even since that show, even before that show, going into that show, has been, I want to fail. Let me fail, because that's how I'm going to learn and how I'm going to grow to be better. I'm going to fail, and that's the only way we're going to learn, we're going to grow. And that's how I view failure. I love failing at the gym. And if I don't fail at least once trying to rep something, I'm not trying hard enough.
Right.
So this show, on Saturday, of course, I want to win. I'm manifesting it because I have to believe it. I have to empower that.
Right.
But even if I don't, I'm still learning. It's the first show. We're all learning. And that's how I'm approaching my future shows going in. It's a learning experience. You win or you lose. It's subjective. Yeah. At the end of the day, you have to have gratitude in yourself and how far you've accomplished.
Yes.
The
growth mindset. We're either winning or we're learning. I love it.
Oh, 100%.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Wow, this was really great. That was, I feel like there's still more to piece and get in there, but I'm gonna have to let you go. But this is great. Maybe we'll have you back on.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
And I have a feeling you're gonna do amazing, or you're gonna learn.
Or I'm gonna learn. Either way, I'm bringing the best me to it, and that's all I can bring. The best me. And I hope they like it. But at the end of the day, I'm going to be proud of the physique that I brought on stage for the first Fit Model show ever. That is what's important.
That's awesome.
So I'm excited. Absolutely.
Yes. Awesome. Well, Fit Fam, that was a good one. I hope you watched to the end. Like, share, and until next time, I'm out.